All right, in today's video, we will be talking about AI marketing tools, user experiences, and practical tips. You've probably heard a whole lot of hype about AI in marketing, right? Well, today, we're going to dig into what real users are actually saying, because what they promise and what you actually get, they're not always the same thing.
So that brings us to the big question we're tackling. Are these AI tools a marketing miracle, or are they just a mess? We're going to cut right through all the noise and get to what's really going on, based on what people who use this stuff every day are experiencing.
So to kick things off, let's look at the miracle side of things. What are the features that have marketers and business owners going, wow, I'm so glad I started using this? Let's get into the good stuff.
Okay, so the biggest win, hands down, speed. Just think about it for a second. Instead of staring at a scary blank page, you get a first draft for an email or a social media post in like seconds. This lets you create way more content, test out different versions of an ad super fast, and you can even lean on templates to make your whole workflow smoother. It's all about getting things done faster.
And you see this sentiment pretty much everywhere, like this Reddit user who said ChatGPT is, quote, excellent for brainstorming content, crafting emails, and writing copy. That just perfectly sums it up, right? It's like the ultimate tool for getting over that first creative hurdle.
But, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. For every person who loves it, there's someone who's run into some issues. So now let's flip the coin and look at the messy part of AI. What are the common headaches that make people feel like these tools just aren't quite there yet?
The number one complaint, and it's not even close, is that the content AI writes just sounds, well, robotic. It can be super generic, it uses all these predictable phrases that just scream, hey, a machine wrote this. The promise is all about unique, creative content, but the reality often feels a little bland and honestly kind of soulless.
And this reviewer on G2 absolutely nails the most important lesson you can learn here. Talking about Copy.ai, they said it usually requires deep editing to enhance creativity. That's the key right there. The AI's work is just a starting point. It's not the finished product. You still got to go in and add your own personality to it.
And the problems go deeper than just robotic text. People also get really frustrated with the tools themselves. Features that are promised but don't really work, a tough learning curve with nobody to help you out, and major headaches trying to get these tools to work with the software you already use. It all just adds up to a really inconsistent and sometimes frustrating experience.
Okay, so with all those pros and cons in mind, let's see how they actually play out with some of the most popular tools on the market. How do the big names really stack up against each other?
So what you start to realize pretty quickly is that there's no single best tool for everyone. It's really about the right tool for the right job. If you just need some quick ideas, ChatGPT is an awesome free place to start. But if you're on a team that needs everything to sound like your brand, something like Jasper might be a better fit. Then you have HubSpot, which is for bigger businesses that want it all in one place, and Copy.ai, which is really focused on more technical sales stuff.
So if you're just looking for one tool to dip your toes in the water, the general recommendation seems to be ChatGPT Plus. It's not too expensive, it can do a whole bunch of different things, and it's powerful enough to really show you what AI can do without having to spend a ton of money.
Okay, so how do you get all the good stuff from these tools while dodging all those frustrations we talked about? Well, it all comes down to using them the smart way. Let's walk through 4 super important tips.
The strategy is actually pretty simple. First, just start small. Use it to write some email subject lines before you try to write a giant report. Second, and this is a big one, always edit what it gives you. Add your voice and check for any mistakes. Third, give it really detailed instructions. The more specific you are, the better the result will be. And finally, if you need it to work with other software, test that out early on so you don't get a major headache later.
And this all leads to the best way to think about AI. See it as your assistant, not as a replacement for you. Let it do the heavy lifting, the research, the outlines, the boring first drafts. But the really important stuff, like strategy, creativity, and making sure everything is perfect, that's still a human job.
So we've looked at the good, the bad, and the practical. After all that, what's the bottom line? What should you really take away from all this?
It really just comes down to this one simple truth. AI is a super powerful tool, but it's not a human. It can make you faster and more efficient, but it can't copy your unique strategy, your knowledge of your customers, or your creative spark. The absolute best results always come from mixing AI speed with a human's creative touch. And that leaves us with one final question for you to think about. As you start messing around with these tools, how are you going to use the incredible speed of AI to support, not replace, your own unique human creativity? Thanks for joining us on Best AI Apps Review channel. Until next time, keep exploring the future with AI.